have a question I keep forgetting to ask you.
All right.
I don't know if it's a question.
Keep
Really.
forgetting to ask.
Yeah, maybe I'll just keep forgetting even after tonight. We'll just put it off till like June. It's more of an oral
better. But go ahead.
It's more of an oral report, really, than a question, I guess. But I expected. As I've been growing up all this time and doing all this meditating and everything, and I always thought of myself as this nice guy, right? And I just thought that was going to continue as things fell away. Let's call it. And I was just telling these guys that I don't know that if people ask me, if I ask 10 people who know me, if I was a nicer guy than I was, say, 2 years ago, I don't know that I don't think that many of them would say that. I'm not the nice guy I thought I was going to turn into. I'm more frank. My filter's gone more. Things just come out that I don't even.
It's going to keep getting worse, Mike. Don't worry.
Well, I should warn everybody then.
You're a selfish motherfucker.
Yeah, I know. I tell you, and I don't have much patience or much time. It doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of. I just don't want to fuck around with it anymore.
Yeah, just stay on the operating table. That's all. Don't worry.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not. I feel more free up with it. It's not like I'm guilty about it or anything like that. But it was unexpected. I guess I didn't expect.
Yeah. Well, it's just another veneer.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. You're situationally nice. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah. When it comes out, that's what it is, and sometimes it doesn't come out. So that's what then that's what it is. So okay.
Yeah. You don't pick what's going to drop or not. Yes.
Not anymore.
We just observe. Just observe what's going on, and there'll be an unspoken yes about it continuing. Yeah, but there's it's a finite situation.
Yeah.
Things get really ordinary.
Yeah.
Very ordinary.
Yeah, I'm getting used to it. I can see that.
Yeah, it's a great relief. It's hard to constantly be extraordinary and having an amazing day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And be nice.
Yeah. So you just I'm here now, and I was in a hefty bag about 5 minutes ago.
Right.
Finding stuff, doing an inventory of the garage and finding stuff. Yeah. Now I'm here. Mike, it's great to see your face. Yeah. What I start seeing your face in Mexico is now your normal face. That's
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's with me. It's with me a lot. It's with me a lot.
Nice or not. Yeah.
Yeah.
You paid your dues, whatever. So
yeah.
Usually it's a point of being convinced. You can hear it be convinced. Yeah. It's not you being convinced, but there's a being convinced, or you can go through tons of experiences and then hear a message that convinces you that failure is the greatest success. Bammo. Yeah. And sometimes after you're convinced, that's the end of it. It moves on and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like there's any going back. And it's certainly what I used to be convinced by is no longer convincing. I'm not even interested. So exactly. Whatever.
Yeah. This is, yeah. Yes. It's like the skin in the snake. Yeah. The old skin in the snake story. Somebody reminded me of it. You find these stories just to try to get something across, obviously.
Right.
So did I use the skin in a snake recently here? No, you would have forgotten anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It all gets erased. But the skin in the snake is sort of a way of seeing things. So there's the skin, and the skin takes itself to be the whole snake. Yes. So the skin is convinced, or it isn't convinced. It's very anxious about it, but it tries to convince whatever it is that's left that it's the snake. Yeah. Okay. Now, every year the snake doesn't do anything, but the skin molts. Yeah. The skin falls off because it's like the treads of a tire. They're worn and they just replace themselves with molting. So you get new set of tires. So you get some new skin. So the activity, the agitation of the head is recognizing something's coming, this molting of the skin. Yes. Now it wants to do everything it can to stop the molting, which it can't do, but it wants to delay it as long as possible. Yep. So it starts broadcasting on K Snake that stay out of the sun. Yeah, you're in the sun too long. It's frying the skin. And then really cautious of how it says it drives the snake. Don't go over that rock, going over this rock. Yes. And then lots of moisturizer. Take like snake moisturizing baths. Yeah, just keep the skin on as long as possible. And it's really flipping out and it's got a lot of angst and it's trying to convince you of a lot of stuff. Convince you that your role as a snake is really to support the skin's existence and support it. But to the snake, the molting of the skin is great because now it gets a new skin, much more durable, brighter to attract female snakes, travels lighter over the rocks and stuff. Yeah, because there's no snags. So it's a big win for the snake, but for the skin, it's not. Now, we are the snake in this example, but many of us, there's been a lot of listening to the skin's point of view. Yeah. And so once again, when this situation arises, you may be convinced that you're the snake, but the skin isn't. The skin will play this, its propaganda channel. Yeah. Now the dilemma with a lot of people is they think they're doing it, but that they're not doing it. Skin is an independent radio station. It's not your radio station. Yeah, it plays its golden roll oldies with the hopes that you'll take them to be your golden oldies. Yes. So yeah. So someone today's talked about it. He has a lot of fear about something. I don't know. But that thing that's saying uh, there's a lot of fear around this thing isn't you. Yeah. It's broadcasting as you, but it isn't you, thank God. Yeah. So this is where the loss of interest happens. The radio station you're not is going to keep playing. Yeah. It's got a long contract. Yeah. Till the point you die. It's going to be broadcasting its narrative and its storyline and its news and everything else pertaining to this idea of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity. Don't waste any time trying to change it because it's pointless. Yeah, it can change, but it's quite limited. Yeah, and it can't go all the way as you would hope it to go. Yes, it can't. It just doesn't get it. No grokking. It's like the dog. There's a certain level that it doesn't understand what you're doing. Yeah, it doesn't. So it moves its head around. It's trying to figure it out because it knows that it's valuable to know what you are thinking, but it's trying to, let's say, assess it, and it doesn't have the equipment. Yeah, well, the same thing with our consciousness. We can only be so conscious as this consciousness. Yeah. So, you it's not, you're going to live as if the snake, but you don't want to live as if the skin. Yeah. Yeah. So the story of being here for 80 years is going to be a story of a snake, but the skin is a whole different story. Yes. Yeah. It's sort of like where when you transforms into me, me is just wow. Me is just a whole other thing than you. You, at least there's a commonality with other yous, but me stands alone. So we're in a world of like 2 billion me's and not enough yous, so to speak. So yeah, I just feel like things are going on, a lot of movements going on without you moving. Yeah. Yeah. things are getting cooked, things are getting distilled, things are getting boiled down to a more quintessential state. Like a lot of people, I don't know if there were a lot of people, a couple of people have sent me a lot of books, which I really appreciate. Uh, one I really like, but I'm not going to probably read them because I don't want to do it. Yeah, I rather just stay in the independent bakery business and cook it up and see what happens because I could say they're right in some ways, but I don't think that rightness would apply efficiently or effectively here. I don't. Yes. I mean, that which can't be that conscious, trying to figure out what's beyond consciousness and is the awareness of all, it's just shoot for traveling lighter. I'm telling you, it'll be get more traveling lighter and it'll be on a need to know basis. Yeah. And just be at peace if you can. Or I think Ramana would say a lot, be still. Yeah. Which you can't be still as the head. The head's nature is agitation. So be still can only be heard as an order that it can't fulfill. Yeah. This is what causes more angst. But be still is of our nature. Yeah. Be still. Or I am that I am. Yeah. Uh,
Well, it's pretty quiet around here, I'll say that.
well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And becomes the new ordinary, which is incredible. Just like when people get sober, uh, maybe the head starts missing something, but you don't want to know what you're missing. I mean, you don't want to go there again. I've seen too many people go out after a period of time, like 20 years, and it hasn't been pretty. I mean, this is just an example in recovery. I had a friend called Wendy, and she was the first love in AA. She had 3 months, I had 6 months. It was a marriage made in AA heaven. Both of us incapable of having a viable relationship, but we tried the best we could. Yeah. And then we went on our different ways after a year or so. We both stayed sober. She wrote a big book on codependency or something. I don't know, Al Anon. She really was she was used beautifully to work with a lot of women and stuff. Became very successful on a lot of levels. And she lived not that far from me, and I knew what was going on. And then she started to drink again after 20 years. Didn't say anything and kept like running meetings, and then it just became obvious. And she of entered a state of pitiful, incomprehensible demoralization for 8 years. Now, she had a lot of money, so she went to the best rehabs and rented, had sober roommates, sober friends, sober companions, all these things. And yet she just couldn't stop drinking. Yeah. And in 8 years, and I knew her family. She had couple sisters, I think, and parents. She overdosed. She died. Yeah, like a suicide. She took a lot of pills on a lot of alcohol, and went to the memorial. And her family was happy it was over. That's how bad it was. Yeah, happy it was over. That finally she was relieved of this bondage of self. Really, it's incredible. Yeah, yeah. Now, what did I go that for? Oh, the appreciation of what's absent in your life. Yeah. There's a huge amount that could be absent in your life that would be very uncomfortable if it was present in your life. Yeah, in a lot of ways. So just hug the ordinariness. It's beautiful. There's so much. Uh, we were talking about it today. If you want to say there's an objective reality, like if you ran into a tree at 30 miles per hour, you're probably going to get hurt. Yes, physically, pretty badly. But then there's the subjective dreaming. Yeah, which is the subjective dreaming overrides the seeming objective reality. So you can have the same amount of trauma another person does, but it motivated you to stop drinking, and the other person, it motivated them to start drinking. Yeah. So this is where the real relief is. You don't know, what's going to probably come to pass in this life will come to pass. Yeah. But at least you'll be able to travel lighter through it instead of traveling heavy through it. Yeah. Yeah. So like there's going to be a seeming passage, but it will be a clearer, cleaner passage. Yeah. And I find uh I'm forever thankful for that because I went to an extreme and yeah, I wouldn't want to be dropped in there, even if they had a rope on me to pull me back out. I don't know, something may happen and I'd be stuck. So, and non-duality, just after I stopped all that shit, non-duality explained a lot for me. Yeah, just going to satsang. I didn't go to tons of satsangs. I went to few, and I went to hear certain people, and I got what I was looking for, and then I moved on, and then more stuff showed up. Yeah, and here we are, passing the same goods that was passed to me. I'm hoping to do a not put so much of me in it and just pass the same thing of how it's landed and everything. So I appreciate books, but I don't want to go into the fifth dimension of radical awareness. Yeah, I just want to stay on the dog shit level, the ordinariness of yeah, just it's I feel it's the seed assignment. Yeah. I remember when I first started doing talks in recovery, obviously you felt something that seemed to be much greater than you move through you. And, your reactions were always at that point based on misunderstanding. So I thought I'd have to get better to be a, 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 a worthy vessel for this. Yeah. But as when I started to do that, something told me, forget that. Yeah, just read Yankee blogs and go to thrift stores. Basically, in other words, just send yourself around the corner every day for 24 hours.
Clean out the garage.
Yeah, and I'll use you. It doesn't, yeah, because the hose the hose doesn't determine the quality of the water. Yeah. And never mistake the hose as the source of the water, please. You're just going to be really bummed out sooner or later. So yeah. So non-duality for people who are new. I think Linda Marie is here for the first few days. Linda seems to come from recovery. Well, we're going to just give you how I see it. Non-duality means not two. Yeah. Not two. So where is the closest two you can see? What's happening right where we're sitting? Yeah. So sometimes you're that which is thought about. Yes. Let's say that's the object. And sometimes you're presented as the thinker of that. That's the subject. Yeah. Not two. So you are neither the object nor the subject. Yeah. Yeah. So mm, the head, there's a simple conception of the situation come from a master called Ramana Maharshi, where it says very clearly in his teachings, a lot of different people wrote about it, but they always have this in there. And a lot of times an important aspect will be framed as the problem or the greatest mystery. And so uh, he says how this whole thing is conceived is there is a presupposing of a non-existent thing, the body, being an existent thing. Yeah, it starts there. And the correction has to be before that. There won't be any correction after, literally, because all the corrections you try to make after, you're trying to make it as an existent thing. Yeah. So the first mistake gets carried all the way. Yeah, yeah. You're going to realize this when you when the misunderstanding that seems to be running the show is confronted by the understanding of non-duality. It just brings it into light. Yeah. And you realize, wait a minute. Where I start is the finishing of a manufactured point. Yeah. So I can't seem to get before that point, but I am before that point. But the I that I'm not can't get before that point. Yeah. So I now see it from our original location, which is no location, which let's say it's awareness. Yeah. So now I see what I used to look from. I see the manufacturing of this idea of being a long lasting, independent, separate entity. I just see it. Yeah. It's like, wow, and then you can see the syrup that's poured over it, which is sense of personalness, and you get to see a lot by doing nothing really. So, but you're before the thing, because after the thing you're trying to get out of the thing as the thing. See, that's the dilemma. Like self can't get out of self. So there is a presupposing of the non-existent thing, the body, being an existent thing. Yeah, whammo. Okay. Right from there, the existent thing may want to get salvation for itself, not from itself, but for itself. So now you go off on a lot of tangents and you're looking for everything you're looking for is framed as an existent thing. In other words, the thing is what's existing, not existence moving through a thing. In other words, not a breath moving through the flute, but the flute is playing itself. Yeah. And then it rationalizes all these holes or whatever. But basically, the flute's thinking it's the one playing itself. Yeah, and so if it thinks something is a lousy song, it did it. Whatever. So there's a bondage to this idea. Okay, it's presupposing of a non-existent thing, aka body, yes, being an existent thing, aka Paul. Yeah. And now Paul, aka the non-existent thing, is seeking salvation. And so Ramana uses spirituality as an example, and he says, if this is the case, which he's saying is the case, yeah, your spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the idea of the non-existent thing as being an existent thing. How can they destroy it? Yeah. So this is why it doesn't matter if you stay there or you go to 800, it's still the same futility. Yeah, because when you become conscious, you are conscious as a thing. Yes. Where we're before that. Yeah. So in time, you're not going to beat the quickness of the mental state. You're just not. I don't believe it. Maybe I've seen a lot of very super high people. Yeah. But they weren't clear about this idea that they still thought they were a person. I think the real clarity is about that, and then see why, in America right now, I don't need to produce heat in the body. I can buy an insulated jacket. Yeah, I don't need these kriyas to do shit with tons of practice, because I could just, call up and get food delivered. Yes, whatever. It just seems insane. So, so okay. So there's a mental claiming. This is what I see. It's not you doing it. Please, please, please entertain the idea of a machine that's mechanical and does the same thing over and over again, because it can't do anything other than that. So the machine in the mental process claims what's happening. So, yes, awareness brings us into contacts with, we become conscious of that contact. That consciousness is held as us. There's a claiming of what we're in contact with. And now we are the one that we made the contact. Yeah. Which we didn't. Yes. We were brought to contact. We didn't make the contact. Yeah. So we become conscious of being a thing who's now having all these experiences, but you're not. Yeah. Do experiences continue? Yes. Like supposedly Lord Buddha said, events happen, deeds are done, but there is no individual doer thereof. Okay. All right. He seems to be pretty reliable, Buddha. So, I mean, why would I want to argue with him? And so here's Ramana Maharshi, who's a great solver of great mysteries, saying the greatest mystery is being ourselves reality. We spend a lot of time trying to attain reality. Yeah. The only way we would look as reality for reality would be as something else, and there we are. So there's a taking ourselves through consciousness because we're conscious of the thing, and now that thing gets the attribute of being the one who's existing, which is not true. Yes. Have you ever buried that which was existing in the body? No, you only bury the body. Yes. What gets left when life seems to leave? The fucking carcass. Yes. People have to burn it, bury it, funeral pyre it. It's a nuisance to all the people who are still there after the person dies. Yeah, because you get left with the person, basically. You didn't like Uncle Joe to begin with. Now you got to bury Uncle Joe's body. So, isn't that funny? We miss what came seemingly in through birth, and we miss what leaves at death. You may be conscious, but you're really quite a lot of unconsciousness. Yes. Now, there isn't quite a lot of consciousness. There's not a lot of awareness or a little awareness. Awareness is a whole different field. Yes. Yes. Much more reliable than conscious because there's a lot of unconsciousness and subconscious shit that you're not conscious of, framed as this body. Yeah. It just doesn't come with the package. So, I feel that's the message. The message is really uh, uh, uses futility of using for what you are to look for what you are as the great success. And I find it to be an incredible, clear understanding. But who am I? Just the next junkie from the streets of New York, yeah, in a way. But I'm not. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the message. So, subject uh, is the one thinking about you as an object, and then you're that which is thought about. So you're going back and forth all day. Yes, subject, object, subject, object, subject, object. Yes, da 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 da. Not two. That's all it is. That's what non-duality's message is. You're not that. The whole kit and caboodle, you're not. Yeah. And how do you come to that conclusion from what you are actually? What you're not cannot get to that conclusion. It can talk as if it's getting there, but you can hear it. It's tinny. It doesn't work. Yes. It doesn't work when a body starts telling me it's not a body. I'm just fucking over it. Yes. I don't see anyone as a body. Well, you just saw the person as a body. And then you reacted and said, I don't see anyone as a body. Then what did you fucking see? That's all you can see here is bodies. You're not seeing spirit. You're not seeing presence or space. So people, I've disappeared. Well, who the hell's telling me that you disappeared? If there's still someone noting that there was a disappearance, there hasn't been a disappearance. There's been an interval or something. I want to call up the spiritual committee and I want to report a missing person. All right, who is it? Me. Well, who's reporting it? So you'll find these little things how that the system snaps back into lock mode. Yeah, this is what gets revealed. I feel a whole lot of what you're not gets revealed by just sitting and being still. And I don't mean physically still, that could be helpful, but a stillness, yeah, where you're not just being moved, and then everything you ever see is based on a movement, yeah. How clear can you see something if you're constantly moving? Yes. So the be still is like what Ramana would suggest. Just be still. Do you now to the head that sounds like an order, but actually that's our nature. So he's not saying fucking anything but the easiest requirement, which is be still. Yeah. A lot gets revealed. It just does. And I hope it brings about a peace in you, meaning uh, I never spend any moment looking for what I am, ever. Yeah. I humbly believe I cannot escape an imaginary place. So I'm completely in Novato, California right now. I was completely in the garage a little while ago, and I'm completely here now. Yeah. That wasn't acceptable since I was 6 years old. I've been trying to get out of here for a long time, and then it collapsed about, I don't know how many years, long time ago now. Just completely collapsed. And the great wisdom of no escape dawned on me. And how I mean that is you can't escape from an imaginary place. Yes, you're not actually in what you're trying to get out of. Trying to get out of it is the biggest in. Yes, you're not actually in what you're trying to get out of. You're not. It's all made up. It's all manufactured. Yeah, that's why if something if there could never be a self, then how can you live as if you're one? Because the head infers that there already is a self. You never see a self being built. It's always the head talks as if you already are that. See, this is the presupposing of it. Yeah. It's not proven whatsoever. It's just assumed. Yeah. Stubbornly. So something that can't be created can appear to be so by exactly how it does, which is it presupposes you already are something that you can never be. And then we're constantly trying to get out of it or trying to forget it or trying to, let's say, sign it up to be with us and make it an amigo or a service animal. There's always constant gyrations, but none of them work, literally. So this is this I had it. I'm going to share this because it's one of the clearest examples in my own event. I had gone through meditation retreats and I was over with them. And I was living in a town called Byron Bay in Australia. And I picked up this lady hitchhiking and she told me about this event. And this is a huge community. Have you ever heard of Rajneesh, and Osho and stuff? Huge community of Osho followers there in Byron Bay. Probably still are. So this lady was from France. I liked how she talked. So she was telling me about this event and she gave me a brochure, which is the first time I saw the St. Francis thing, which is what's looking is what you're looking for. So, something like that. And that got my head like a shepherd. I'm like, what? It was triggering something. And so I read the brochure, and it was it was called the Path of Love. Yeah, it was an 8-day thing, and it was going to be emotional, which I thought I needed because, coming out of being incapable of having a viable relationship. And as we know in recovery, when you start drinking and using heavily, you stop growing emotionally. You're like a kid. And a lot of the tough, it's like growing up. We're trying to resist, but it's time to freaking grow up. Yeah. All right. So didn't know anybody, signed up, went there. Big event. Had a lot and they had a very interesting thing they did there, which is there was three groups that they had people sitting around lording over, and they were just having talks, and they bring up a conversation, and these three were three different groups, and the whole room was surrounded by people on the periphery, never said anything. But this is where I first was introduced to holding the space. Yeah. So these people were like holding this space, never intruded personally, but there was a sense. Yeah. So in the morning, we'd have these discussions and sort of like, uh, you would be bring to a point where you knew you were going to lose a lot of votes in this circle if you said the truth, but then you'd fucking say the truth. And then the whole thing would boil over. It'd be a huge fucking. And then in the afternoon, they'd change the room, put all these mattresses in it. They had a DJ and they'd play music and they knew how to induce a cathartic event. Yeah. So people would just go off, like crying, uncontrollably, choking, everything. It was wild. And then you go back again and do some more talking, and then they'd show a Rajneesh video, and then it was the end of the day. So here I was. So one of these, like sixth or seventh day, right near the end of it, I went into this little cathartic thing, and I started to cry like the sorrow of 1,000 seekers, you know. And I was crying and I was saying out loud, I can never get back. I can never get back. Like I had done something terrible and had separated from Godhead or whatever. Like the Course of Miracle talks about the guilt of we've separated from God, which is an impossibility, but the head thrives on it completely. So there I was. I can never get back. And everyone, they were really watching all of us, and the people that were running it just came right over to me and lifted me up, and I was like the awakened one, you know. And they took me out of the room I was the first person ever taken out of the room, and I was a very high level and on this, and then a couple of days later, and I had all these feelings from the I can never get back. You know what I mean? Tons of feelings around it, but completely defined by the fact I can never get back. Yeah, that was all my emotions were rooted in that I can never get back. Then a couple days later, I had been introduced to non-duality in my life before this. I realized the reason why I can never get back is because I never left. Wow, fucking a radical idea. Finally broke through tons of fucking misunderstandings. I can never get back because I never left. Now, from the one that could never get back, I had met some of the babes in the place. Yeah. They completely lost interest in me when I told them I had never left. They had a lot of interest in me if I could never get back, but never leaving, no bueno, wasn't good. Especially it was like a seeking hornet's nest. It was a lot of seeking, high level seeking, but seeking. So, uh, this is what the non-duality did. Yeah. The head can do a lot more moves than we do with the mental logic. The mental logic is like a two-step shuffle. Yeah. Freed from that, you can take things much farther, or you can watch things and get taken much farther to really the root of things. Yes. Not this circular shit, but a breaking out of the logic itself. This is what I believe non-duality does. Non-duality puts out a whistle that brings your attention out of the mental logic. You answer the call. It's like a dog whistle. Not everyone's hearing it, but if you're the hearing of it, it brings you out of the mental logic. And then you realize how much faith is in the mental logic and in the intellect and in the knowing and understanding and experiencing. There's a lot of value misspent, I feel, there. And it brings you out, and then you're able to receive the message, yes? Because the mental logic is going to claim it. And if the mental logic beats you to it, you're going to be put into a pretzel of trying to be a non-self as a self. Which it doesn't hold much water. It doesn't. It doesn't. Uh, so I started, the interest of attention broke out. Uh, I realized the futility of something that was manufactured attempting to unmanufacture itself. I don't think it has that ability. I just don't. Yeah. I do not believe the programming can completely erase the programming. It can maybe add on to it, but primary programming is going to win out. Yeah. So then I recognized that, and the seeking stopped for years now, completely, literally, on this topic of spirituality. That's why I'm having trouble, because now I get all these books, and then I got to get a bookshelf, yes, and then there's a demand for me to read the books, and on and on and on. This is what happens, yes. And then when I pass away, there'll be like a presidential library, and there'll be a very small little cubbyhole with a few books that I never read. Yeah. So, but I love the feeling of it. People, and I'll maybe whatever, Would you want to see someone down the road talk about what Paul Hedderman said? Why not just hear what Paul Hedderman says? Yeah, just let's keep it there and then see what happens. Yeah. I believe you are a fully equipped ship. You don't have to dock all the time. You dock to get some recognition, and then you're out to sea. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And you can go to a harbor that you like and enjoy everything and enjoy it. Yeah. But it's not necessary in a sense. Yeah. Because you've been convinced of what's truly convincible. It truly is. Because it gives a real answer to all of the misunderstandings of why is it that I can't get this? Well, because you are it. Yes. It's just that simple. Do you want to give up being it to get it? Yes, it seems like we've made a deal that we would like to give up being it, seemingly, to so that we can believe we can get it. All right, wear it loosely then. Yeah, give it a shot. Yeah, it set off a whole new fashion. What did happen to yoga in the West? There's a lot of fashion has been produced from yoga practice. Yeah. So great things will come out of all these things. Hmm. But yeah, whatever. Just sharing it. Dog shit awareness. Stay there. Yeah, I don't need to. All I need to do is look over the curb. I don't have to look anywhere else. I just see what I'm not, and then I hope it's going to bring about. Because this is, see, there's tons of paths. Non-duality to me is not a path. It isn't. And it shouldn't, I don't believe you're doing it justice if you take it as a path. Let's call that something else, Advaita or something. That's fine. If you want to have a path, far out. But to me, it's an imitation of the basic inherent condition that we are, almost like a whispering of that while we're seeing what we're not. Yes. Yes. And then the seeing of what you're not really reinforcing finally what you are instead of what you're not. Because most of it is reinforcing what you're not. It gets used now to reinforce what you are, because you are the seeing of what you're not. You are the awareness of what you're not. Basically, that's the closest you can get to describe what you are here. You are the seeing of what you're not. Yeah. So, as Ramana says beautifully, and this is the scripture of Zen Bitch Slap, Linda. This is it. It's got one page, not even fully. This one's got more writing than the others. Yeah. This is it right here. I'm going to give it to you. These people are probably sick of it, but I don't care because I'm not talking to them. Yeah. So here it is. There is no greater mystery than this, that being the reality ourselves, we seek to gain reality. So what's the clue that's in there? Well, if you see anything seeking reality, you can know it's not you. Yes? Being ourselves reality, if anything that is being presented as you is looking for reality, it's a sign that it's not you. Why? Being ourselves reality. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah. So now you'll see the wheat and the chaff will be separated. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So there is no greater mystery than this, that being the reality ourselves, we seek to gain reality. We think, this is the dilemma, yeah? Because this is the only way the thinking can see it. We think that there is something binding our reality. In other words, we're being kept from something, yeah? Not realizing we're the thing that's keeping us from something. We think there's something else is keeping us from something as a thing. Reality, and that it must be destroyed. Of course, spiritual warrior. Yes, all this kill, vanquish, destroy, knock out. So it says that it must be destroyed before the reality is gained. So now the mental state puts a requirement. Yeah. It's basically saying you maybe be able to become reality, but you have to fulfill this. So it dodges the fact you are reality and then teases you with the spiritual carrot. You can become reality, probably through a lot of work and purification. And basically, when you, it's sort of like a sadistic thing where it's saying you're getting warmer and warmer, and then it suddenly just goes, you're cold. And then you just keep on searching. So, and that it must be destroyed before that reality is gained. There's no gaining what you are, eh? And there's no losing what you are. Pretty good. If you really want to gain what you are, you're going to be apt to lose what you are. Yeah. You have to see the 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 value system of duality. Yes. One is actively denying what you are and firm in faith in something else you've made to be yourself. Yeah, this is what happens. So you do one thing, there's a reaction. Yeah. So here, all right, it is ridiculous. So he says, all right, yeah, reality, something's stopping us. We got to get that clear before we gain reality. And that whole idea is ridiculous. I'm not saying that. Ramana said it. Yeah. A day will dawn when we will ourselves laugh at our own efforts. That which is on the day of laughter is also now. Pretty cool, eh? And then here's the second. Now you can get this Zen Bit Slap spiritual book in two parts. You can get, yeah, you can get one page and then the other side of the other page. We'll send you two separate books with a lot of illustrations of different various things that don't mean anything. Yeah. It is false to speak of realization. If you read Ramana, he says realization is always realized. So how can there be a realization of that? So he says, it is false to speak of realization. What is there to realize? Wow. I thought there was a lot to realize. I went to supposedly realize people, and they told me there was a lot to realize. Now, the godfather of non-duality is telling me, what is there to realize? Why don't you sit with that, Paul? Okay. How much is it going to cost? Nothing. Just sit down. The real is as it is always. Wow. So, however it is, the real it is as it is always. No matter how it appears, the real is as it is always. That's the convincing point. Yes. Don't try to convince what is of the surface of coming and going, of finite this or that. The convincing is of your nature. Yes. Yes. I feel. So the real is as it is always. And here, okay, here's another question. How to realize it? Wow, isn't that what everyone wants? How to realize it? All that is required is this, all right? Gird your loins, here it comes. Fuck. kill your firstborn, divorce your wife, become a pauper, shoot somebody, whatever. Okay, get ready. I'm willing to do anything. Anything. Hit me with it, bro. All that is required is this. We have realized the unreal. Wow. Not to is realizing the unreal. Yeah. The essence of non-duality, not to, is the realization of the unreal. Not realizations of the real, realization of the unreal. That's all that's required. What? Yeah. So we have regarded the unreal as real. The head does. Yeah. Don't say it's you did it. The head regards the unreal as real. Don't waste any more trying to convince it otherwise. The head, what we listen or hear quite a lot of, is, yes, using the unreal to look for the real. Yeah. It's saying the unreal is the real. Yes. Yeah. This says here, we have regarded the unreal as the real. And he says, knock it off. Yeah. Okay. You can use this. It's got a huge value. Yeah. That which you thought was really about you and this and that and that and that, you can now greet it with, I'm not that. Let's check out what happens. Yeah. Maybe you're not going to hear a false echo of your head saying, oh, I think you're onto something. You'll hear the echo of that unspoken yes. You'll hear it. Yes. It won't sound like the tinny little reaction up from the head. You will hear the echo of your own absence, so to speak. Yes, it'll be like you'll never be able to forget it. And the beautiful thing is you don't have to remember it. You don't. You busily trying to remember it is just remembering you more than it. Yeah. You have faith in it. Yeah. Hmm. All right. So yeah, that's that with that. I'm happy you came, Linda. So you let me get to some basic stuff. Yeah. You're not gonna Linda, being conscious, it's rooted with the body. You have to realize that. Yes. So uh undoing that which is already done is just going to be, it doesn't work. Yes. You have to see it as not you. Yeah. Because that which comes after can arrive at the before, but you can see what was called the before, this idea of you being conscious, is really an after. You can see it from awareness. You can. Yeah. You're seeing it anyway. You're not, but there's a seeing it from awareness, and you can hear that whisper, and it'll be pretty loud. Yeah. Yeah. Just allow you to travel lighter in Novato or wherever you are. Yep. So, hey, I'm sorry. I think I took the whole meeting up. Any questions? We'll jump in. Michael, are you running it today?
Yeah, I'm here, Paul. I'm here.
Man, that the boat has steered itself today. Not bad.
It
Yeah.
has. Yeah.
Fantastic. I like that.
And,
Right.
and there are no questions. There are no hands up. So
Well, what a beautiful, tidy little satsang today. Incredibly efficient. We didn't take anything out of the box. We didn't put anything in the box. Yes. Yes. Very nice. Thank you. I give everyone. I give a very good, everyone. Yeah. It's been years, but efficiency, beautiful, very beautiful. Okay, James Parker, thank you. Sue Mosley, let me try to get out of this. Zoom keeps trying to tell me turn on reactions. I refuse to have any reactions turned on. I can't get the thing out, so I was blocking Sue Mosley. I see you now. I'm looking under it. See you. Nice. Thank you, Sue. Mary Champagne, it was a pleasure. Mary came over to the house Saturday. Fantastic. Did not bring any champagne. No. But it was all right. We had a very nice time. Henry, have I seen you before, Henry? Is this your first time? Oh, welcome. Yeah. I can't hear you, but
Thank you, Paul. Great to be here.
great, fantastic. David Lowe. Yes. Nice to see you, David. Jim Elliott.
Thank you,
Down
Paul.
Bondi. Beautiful beach in
Beautiful day today. Went swimming.
Oh, wow. We have a pretty nice day here, but it's not the thought of swimming isn't coming up.
It's always cold in Northern California.
Yeah. But we have a lagoon that's a little nicer. I can swim at. I have
Okay.
permission.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Marl,
Thanks, man.
you. 1-2 punch Marl today, eh? Pretty good. Claire in Sydney. I have a warm spot for Aussies. I just was reminded by a movie, Fair Dinkum, one of my favorite sayings. Fair dinkum. Try to figure that one out. It's an interesting one. I had forgotten it. I was watching an Aussie movie and they said it. They did the fair dinkum. It was great. Linda Marie. Now there's a mystery to try to solve. How the hell did they come up with that? Fair dinkum. Yeah. Give it a shot. Mia, nice to see you, honey. Dennis, Kathleen, Mike Clark, Brian, Darshan, Eric in Vista, Diane R. Nice to see you, Diane. Esther. Esther is my librarian. She sent me a lot of books. Thank you, Esther. Yeah. Hold off for a while. Yeah. And what somebody's been talking, I haven't really, I'll put up the information about Philly soon, but we're already set to go. Mucci Facet in Laguna.
Hey, Paul, I want to ask you, this is off topic, but a couple sessions ago, you had mentioned you recommended a horror movie called Imitation. Did I write that down right?
Someone else did, which is a good one. I recommended Hereditary.
Oh yeah, that I have seen that one. That one's
but
fantastic. Yeah.
Invitation's very good too. It was a couple of years ago. It's not a horror. It's very good though.
Okay, and it's called Imitation.
Invitation, yes.
Invitation, got it. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't want to lose friends, so I'm not going to put my horror list up. So I'm
Oh,
Hereditary
horror
topped it
movies.
all. You don't have to go past Hereditary. That's good enough.
yeah, Hereditary is great for the last few years. Yes, very good. But there's some nice ones that aren't that heavy that are pretty good. I like the atmospheric. There's a guy does them very good from Ireland called McCarthy. That's my mother's maiden name. He has 2 movies, Caveat and Oddity, which are very good. I recommend.
Okay. Oddity
And Oddity, yes, very
and
good.
caveat. Okay.
Yeah. Judy
Nice.
Love, nice to see you.
Hi,
Yeah.
Paul. Thanks. Glad to be here. Thank you.
If you twist my arm, I'll give horror recommendations, but I have to think about some. Annette, nice to see you, honey. Nice to see you, Judy Love. Yep.
Thank you. Happy
Hey,
to be here.
Hey, thank you so much. I can't get to the other page. There's a lot of other people. I don't know how to do that. Whatever. Well, thank you. If I don't see you, thank you. Really, all the support that I've been giving and get is deeply appreciated. If you want to get in touch with me, do not use Messenger. I don't go there. And when I go there, it's like 2 years later, and it's weird that I get in touch with a person 2 years. The Omega Foundation years ago tried to ask me to speak there. I didn't see it for 4 years. So please don't go to Messenger. Just go to, we have my email on the website. And I'm bad at responding, and we don't have a newsletter. It's imaginary. You got to just go to the event page. There's no news in non-duality anyway. done. It's dead. It's a dead news day every day. But we put everything we're going to do up on the event page a period of time before we do it. So right now we're just going to go to back east and do a little satsang, but mostly non-dual on mostly recovery stuff. Yeah, that I'm in the habit of doing over there. So yeah, we'll put it all up on the event page. And thank you so much for all the support and everything. Hope you have a good day, and we'll be back tomorrow in the
Don't
morning.
know how to say thank you, Paul, but thank you so much.
See everyone. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
Michael Stacy.
Thank
Yes.
you.